You're very welcome. This is the back door to my cottage, Bealtaine Cottage, and looking out on the courtyard garden. And this is the entrance to my cottage, down at the main road. There's a very long driveway, and everything you see, I've planted myself. When I first arrived here 20 years ago, it was just rushy fields. No trees, no flowers, no plants. So I've just had the most extraordinary journey over 20 years creating this garden and woodland and pond, spring well, which I dug out, stream. It is 3 acres of, for me, paradise. This is a little courtyard garden that I've been creating over recent months. It's all in containers. So it's a container garden, which is something I haven't done in years, but it's been a really interesting exercise and so easy to do. Right up at the back of my property, I've created a stone circle. It has 13 stones in it. It's very much in honour of the moon cycles and the divine feminine. For me, it marks out a very sacred place on the land. And of course, this land has always been inhabited for thousands of years by very ancient peoples and Celtic tribes. This is a beautiful flowering comfrey. I couldn't begin to even count the amount of plants, species, the varieties of species that I have here. But of course, here in the west of Ireland, gardening, planting, growing is so easy because of the wonderful temperate climate. And in fact, the woodland that I've planted has become a temperate rainforest. Coming up to May, and we're only a few days away now from Bealtaine, which of course is the Irish for the month of May. The blossom is profuse. The bird song is deafening at times. And in fact, this morning I was woken at I think it was about 3:30 in the morning by the cuckoo. Now I know that many places in the British Isles no longer attract the cuckoo, but the west of Ireland the cuckoo is usually heard around Bealtaine Cottage sometime around the 18th to the 22nd of April, as I've said before in videos. And it's very reliable, you know, you can actually almost set your calendar by this. Orchards here at Bealtaine Cottage are scattered throughout the land and the woodland, and I've planted about 38 or so fruit trees. There's the cuckoo just on cue. There's been a constant evolution here at Bealtaine Cottage as well. For example, this pagoda used to be a shed, but most of the shed rotted, so I kept the roof and, with the help of my son, turned it into this outdoor eating space. And that's one of the beautiful things about gardening and about growing and planting, to be aware that you're part of the evolution. You're actually a part of the evolution of Mother Earth and helping in that creation of beauty. I'm a strong believer in surrounding myself with beauty, and it's the beauty of nature, the beauty of everything outside of my home. Although inside the cottage as well, I love colour and texture, and I love to bring the outdoors in. And here's the beautiful Chinese forget-me-not, which spreads quite rapidly through seed. But the bees do love these little flowers, so I have to give it a pass. And these are the delicate little flowers of the wild carrot. They're lovely. Little bluebells opening. The wonderful bugle. Gorgeous colour. This is apple blossom on one of the trees here in the orchard near the tunnel. There's so much regeneration going on now in this wild wood of Bealtaine, because if you look, these are, I think, 3 or 4, let me see, 4, 5, 5 little hawthorn trees all coming up here, which are just delightful to behold. And wild violets. Lots of wild violets here in the woodland now, and on the bank overlooking the woodland. Just place my coffee there for a moment. I'm halfway down this little path, just looking up there, and there's just so much wild plants, so many wild plants coming up here. There's woodbine, this is the wild honeysuckle, primroses, lots and lots of primroses this year, bluebells. Don't know if you can see that one there. Let's just pan in. There we go. Two different types of fern just growing side by side. A lot of unfurling taking place there. And in many places, sometimes a foot deep in moss. There's another little fern in there with wild carrot and that lovely sort of, it looks like a miniature euphorbia in there. Beautiful little baby oak beginning to unfurl its leaves, growing in amongst this wonderful sedge, which is flowering as well. I think some people call it, let me just turn around here, some people call it foxtail, which as you can see is certainly quite descriptive, especially when it opens up, and it hasn't opened up completely yet. Look at that bank of violets and primroses. Isn't that wonderful? Now I've just found some sedge down here that has opened, and now you can get the notion of a foxtail. There we go. Looks just like one, doesn't it? Now, in seasons past, I used to mow this path, but I think I'll just let the path grow and keep to the little sort of walked bit in the middle. Is I quite like that. You can just see how it works. Wild garlic, that's just beginning to bud, so I think there'll be flowers on that quite soon. I've set my coffee down again because I've just spotted this beautiful fern. Look at that. And I'm going to, at some point this year, this summer, go along and count all the different species of fern, all the different varieties rather of fern, because there appears to be so many, which is beautiful considering that when first I bought these 3 rushy fields and the cottage, there wasn't a fern in sight. This is the fairy wood part of it. And there's a beautiful willow up there in blossom. And here as well, you can just see the lovely flowers on this. And there's the path I came down from the tunnel. And there's Danu overlooking the very dark, mysterious pool of the spring well. And one would think that's just a puddle. And then you look down and you see all the movement of the water, the spring water, flowing all the way down. And again, lots of ferns opening up down along here. They have made a beautiful spread along with the primroses, just spreading along the bank. And then there's this little plant. You see it? Okay. I just get a little close-up of it. What is this, I wonder? It seems to have naturalized. So I now have a lot of logs to collect. That's where the tree came down, and you can see what was cut off. We didn't cut the whole thing because perhaps it will regenerate. Give it a chance. So I threw all the logs over. There's a pile there. There's some down here. Put my coffee down again because I've just spied something that I want to show you. You see the beautiful young leaves on the poplar. They're gorgeous. They're sort of an orangey brown. That's before they turn green. Look how lovely that is against the blue sky with the birch underneath. So I'm going to finish this very short tour. There's so much more to see here. But I'm finishing this short tour just down here at the pond, the lower pond. And this was something again which I created 20 years ago at the start of the Bealtaine project. There's a huge amount of frogs and toads around this pond. And it's quite near to the entrance. This is my roadside verge, which again I plant out. I love to make nature her most beautiful. And you know, wouldn't it be nice if this world was more beautiful? So from myself and Patsy, blessings to you all.